Thanks, sir. Today you have provided the invitation to Salida Chamber of Commerce and also other communities surrounding Salida for your ribbon cutting event.
Yes,
Um, so you are a multinational company, MedicAlert,
we are.
and can you provide some background and what kind of product and services you provide to saving the lives of the people?
Yes, of course. So from a historical standpoint, MedicAlert was founded about 60 years ago by Dr. Collins, who was a physician in Turlock, whose daughter had an accident involved with her horse, and long story short, she had an allergy and spent about 3 weeks in a coma, and that was because she did not have, at the time, which didn't exist, a MedicAlert bracelet. Her father, Dr. Collins, founded MedicAlert based on the experience of his daughter. So that heritage and legacy for us. One of the folks who was at the event today who came to visit was talking about his daughter. My daughter is a MedicAlert member. And so we have 6 decades of connecting information about an individual's health that is crucial at a time when, if that person needs emergency medical care and cannot speak for themselves, MedicAlert is the link via the bracelet, which is an internationally recognized symbol, literally around the globe, created here in Turlock. Excuse me, now of course we're in Salida, but Central Valley. And literally that symbol is known worldwide to emergency medical professionals of all types, shapes, and sizes to make sure before you take action with that individual, call that 800 number and find out what the medical conditions are, which must be known to prevent actually harming the person rather than saving them. And so that's our heritage. We do that through not just now an array of more than 700 items of jewelry that can be worn on the body with still the same symbol everywhere, eminently clear, telling the emergency medical people, don't do anything until you've checked. And what sets us apart from more competitors that we can count that sell jewelry only, with no health information behind it, just the word diabetes on it or something like that, which of course for those folks who are wearing those, that's better than nothing, but it's nowhere close to the industry standard which we created as the only nonprofit in the business. Everybody else is making, enriching themselves off of this. We are a nonprofit foundation. And we include the health information and a medically trained 7 by 24 hour, 365 days a year call center staffed to handle these emergency calls, which we get around the clock.
That's good. So please, sir, let us know about a typical customer you have, as it's much more related to medical. And
Sure.
So like a typical day which you see in your work, people calling, and what kind of customers you have in terms of age or
Sure.
gender or.
Well, you know, that really just spans human beings. There is no typical customer. Of course, I don't think we put MedicAlert bracelets on infants. But I think that the latest tally is something like 400 medical conditions which the medical profession will tell you should wear a MedicAlert bracelet. Because if the emergency medical folks don't know about one of those 400 conditions, and it's not just that condition, as I said, just the word diabetes is better than nothing, but your particular dosages of insulin, the drug that's your drugs you were taking, which is typically a blend, a mix, all types of interactions. So there's really no matching a trained medical person looking at that record in a particular health event, which could be blunt trauma, an auto accident, could be something related to the illness that they have. And computers just aren't there yet to make those kind of decisions. You don't want somebody scrolling through an iPhone when your life's at stake. And that's why we're unique and why our role here in the Valley, our employees, are so crucial. We're not going to go anywhere as it relates to the call center which we deploy. Our investment, the people we have, the tenure we have, the number of people who've been doing this for 10, 15, 20, in some cases more than 30 years, that's irreplaceable. So your question was about, is there a typical, there are more older people than younger people because medical conditions tend to but it's really not age-related, it's not gender-related, and there are 400 medical conditions. And then finally, regrettably, as our country faces a wave of diagnosis of folks with dementia or Alzheimer's, that is a growing segment for us. We wish it was otherwise. But we have a very special set of services very closely linked to law enforcement around the country, where we help in the recovery efforts when folks with dementia or Alzheimer's wander from their safe environment, which happens to 60% of them. So that means that you have well north of 2 million people every year in these events where law enforcement's involved to recover them. It's a very important part of our work.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, it just makes a big impact as the country as a whole.
Yes.
As you mentioned, the law enforcement and EMT personnels, because their role is very much important in
hugely important
in your providing your services. So how you get the partnerships built with them or training to those local professionals? Or
sure. Well, we invest quite a bit in that actually, but beautifully for us, that's the benefit of being there for 60 years. If you were to go to almost any police department in the United States and look, you'd probably see posters in the precinct or in the department with the MedicAlert information. So it's one of the reasons why, from that perspective, we just don't have competitors. As somebody who has started technology companies previously, I wouldn't try to compete with MedicAlert. It would cost untold millions of dollars to recreate. And then, of course, the question would be, for any law enforcement or EMT, why do I need another one? I work with MedicAlert. They've been there as long as I've been in my profession, right? And so to try and say, well, we do what they do, only better, but we're not a nonprofit, we're getting rich off this. We just really stand alone in this very important moment of medical need when the individual can't speak for themselves.
Yeah, that's... and the next question, it's much more related to the local area, as you have chose this community of Salida. So I think previously you were in
Turlock.
City of Turlock.
We were.
So what was the main reasons for shifting your operations in?
Well, we were making economic decisions in terms of the fact that, largely because of the technology efficiencies, our building, which was built 35 years ago, was at a time when it took nearly 275 employees to do what today we do with 60 to 65. And that means we had a building that we were using less than 50% of. And as much as we dearly love the community of Turlock and are doing everything we can to maintain our ties there, we also have a responsibility to our membership to operate efficiently. And utilizing less than 50% of your building, it just isn't efficient. And so we came to Salida because the facility that we found was a superb match for us. And it was close enough. We had a range where we could go with our existing employees who were precious to us. And it was a combination of geography and the facility that we found, which we are very, very pleased with.
Yeah, and thanks for coming to Salida.
We're pleased.
And last couple of questions. It's much more related to the millennials, as I also come from that generation.
Yes.
So what message you want to give to millennials so that they can able to help their loved ones? Yeah, means everybody have parents, grandfather, grandmother.
I have 4 millennials as children. I know them well.
Yeah, so sometimes they think it's not related to me, or so like how you want to encourage them so that they can use the technology and help their loved ones.
Sure. Well, it would be a message that says, if you do have a loved one, as I said, I have 4 millennials, and believe me, they tell me what to do quite a bit. And if I needed a MedicAlert bracelet, which so far I don't, they would not let me go out of the house without it, because if you are supposed to wear one, it is an endangerment to your life. Now, it may be very, very, very low odds, and thank goodness it is for all of us. But you know, for the sake of wearing a bracelet, they'd be really upset with me if I didn't come home. which is that possibility. So visit our website, both on your phone and or on a computer, if you know what that is. Most of you probably have never seen one of those on your tablet. But for those of you near 30 who might have seen a laptop, check out the website and realize also that we have 700 different styles to do the same thing, and there's some pretty neat ones on there. So just don't let your loved ones be unprotected.
So last question. So as you have this multinational operation, so in future, how you see technology and the innovations which you are trying to work on with your products, so how it will work out in future? Means what kind of products we would be able to look from MedicAlert or from the industry as a whole?
Well, we do have competitors, so we keep some of those close to the vest. I would tell you that in general, right now the connection when someone in the medical profession tells you or your loved one that you should wear a MedicAlert bracelet, we want to make it dramatically faster and easier for you to wind up with that bracelet. So we're going to be doing some really interesting things to connect directly from the physician or the medical personnel who say, you really should have a bracelet, whether that's, when you're leaving the hospital after a transplant, and it might be a 2 or 3 year sort of thing, or whether it's a lifetime condition. We want to make it almost just instantaneous between the physician's recommendation and, by the time you get to the parking lot from your doctor having given you that information, we want to be in touch with you on your smartphone saying, welcome to the MedicAlert family. Your bracelet will be, arriving soon, and bringing them directly to where they do the appropriate customization, et cetera, et cetera. So that's probably one of the first things that we'll see. And beyond that, it gets a little harder to talk about.
Yeah, it's technology. We don't know what can happen.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir, for just giving
it's my
us
pleasure.
your time.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for being part of Salida. And
we hope to be here for a very long time.
Try to work out whatever things from chamber we would be able to help your business.
Terrific.
And also, members, you should check out their website, and also you can just contact them and ask what kind of things they would be able to provide, as every person in their future would have some medical problems.
Unfortunately, that's true.
They would be just asking those questions and be ready with your helpful services which are in our community. And thanks for listening this video.